Okay, so you need a nice flat surface to paint on. I have my water bowl. I have a paper towel, which is, I'm going to have to dry my brush between each time I use a color. I've got that. I've got my paint, different colors. We're going to start with the primaries today, right? I've got a brush. You've got 3 brushes in your packet, a huge one, a tiny one, and a medium one. I would go with the medium one, okay? And then I have a paint palette. I made sure that there aren't any holes in it. I'm using an egg carton, but again, you can use like plastic container, a takeout food container, Tupperware, a plate, aluminum foil, and you'll just want to cover it every day so that it stays wet. Sorry, so that it stays wet. All right, so we're going to start with the primaries, which means we're not mixing any colors in our palette yet. We can go straight into the cup. Remember that neatness matters, so you want to do your best to stay inside the lines. And this is going to be a major grade or a summative assessment grade. All right, so I'm starting with red. I've got my brush. You can wet your brush if you want. Dry it a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit of red. Try not to get paint into the metal part. Try and keep it on the bristles. You'll get some up there, but you don't need to like dunk your brush all the way in. Okay? And I rest my hand on the table and go slowly down, following the line, trying not to cross it. And you can go a little bit faster in the bigger spaces. We've got brand new brushes, so they hold their shape well. You don't want your brush to be watery and watering down the paint. And you pull the paint, you don't push it. So it just kind of glides across, and you spread it out, even it out. Okay, so we're pulling the paint along the lines. And again, I'm trying not to get any paint up to the metal part, keeping it on the bristles. If you go out of the lines a little bit, oh well, it just is what it is. Keep going. Try and make it nice and even. I've passed that line just a little bit. It's okay. Be careful. We can go over it once all the painting is done and it's all dry. We can go over it with a Sharpie and make it look even cleaner. Hey Tony, I'm muting you. Pulling the paint. And we're doing this not just because color theory, color wheel, it's important to review, but because it's good to practice your painting skills before we go onto your sculpture, where it's going to have really intricate patterns and color blending. Okay? We won't just throw you straight onto your project that you've been working for weeks on, last semester and this semester. We want it to be really good. I made sure I get it. It's an even coat, not too thin in any place. And there I go, done with red. Alright, so now it's time to rinse. I'm going to move my bowl so you can see it. You don't want to smash your brush at the bottom of your bowl either. You just kind of rub it across the bottom lightly, back and forth, and the paint comes off. Tempera's pretty washable, which is the kind of paint we're using. I make sure I don't have any red left on there. Looks good. And that brush right now is too watery, so I'm going to dry it off on my paper towel. And that's another time that I can check and see, okay, yeah, it really is clean. There's no red left. So we're good. No red's coming off on the paper towel. Again, you don't want to smash it. You also don't want to do what I call drowning your brush, which is leaving it face down in the water, bristles down in the water, because it'll bend your brush permanently. Just like if you sleep on your hair wet and it like comes out with a weird bend in it. Same thing happens to your brush. So I'm done with red there, but oh wait, I actually could plan a little bit ahead, because look, I already labeled this square over here red. So I might as well label it while my paint is out, while everything's ready, my red over here. Pull the paint, don't push it. Okay, there are going to be other places where we get to pick colors that I didn't label yet, but I'm going to wait on doing those. I'm just going to stick with the ones we labeled so far. Okay, so I'm rinsing again, not squishing it down onto the bottom, but just lightly touching the bristles to the bottom of the bowl, back and forth, back and forth. And I can test it out and dry my brush. No red, so we are good. Ready to move on to the next color. So today, since we're not mixing, we actually don't need the palette right just yet, but it's good to have it ready. Okay, I'm going to close that up. Looks good. You want to keep it closed, otherwise it will dry out. And we're painting this project, we're painting our sculptures, and then we're going to do another project out of cardboard, and you're going to need your paint again. So don't throw away your paint, okay, even after this is done. So let's go to yellow next. And for those of you at home, I gave you 2 yellows because they're kind of thin. You'll notice the texture of the yellow is a little bit different, and we didn't want you to run out. Those of you in class, if you need more of any color, we can get it to you. If I hadn't cleaned my brush and then switched to a light color like yellow, I would see streaks coming through. If you get too much paint on there, it gets kind of blobby. So it's good to just go back for more when you need more, rather than getting too much and having it go onto that metal part at the beginning. You can always go back for more. How we doing, virtual learners? Remember, virtual learners, anyone virtual today, I need you to upload a progress picture of what you worked on. Now, some of you are virtual today but aren't usually virtual, then you should still upload a progress picture. It would probably be of like your journal for the week. Or at least take a picture of you watching these videos So I know you're really paying attention or taking notes or something to prove you were here and working today. Okay, I finished that yellow, and then I need to do the yellow way over here. I'm ready to rinse again. Oh, still yellow on it. Need to rinse some more. There we go. No yellow on my towel. Now let's get put my cap back on the yellow. Okay. And blue. It's like electric blue. This is why it's important that we have our labels done correctly too, because I can't erase paint. I need to make sure I put them in the right space. That's why we spent 3 days making sure our layout was correct. Again, I'm using the medium brush. The small one would just take too long. But if you had to work smaller, the small one might be better. I know some of you may do with a smaller sheet of paper as you made all this stuff. Use your judgment. The big one, you shouldn't need that yet. That's going to be for covering big spaces on your sculpture. And it helps me to go parallel to the lines, like following the edge lines to get the straightest edge. And again, if you have a shaky hand, I would rest your hand not on wet paint, but on the table to help steady it. Okay, and then my other blue one's way over here. These are the ones I know I'm doing. Pulling the paint parallel to the line. Go slowly if you need to. You can see that I change the speed of my brush. Like I go a lot slower when I'm doing line work, a lot faster when I'm doing the middle part. Okay, does that seem like a good stopping point for today? We still got a lot to do. Maybe we can add more labels, decide which colors we're going to do. You're going to want to clean up your brushes and stuff at the end. We do have quite a bit more time. I'll stop there for now. Give me some feedback about where you are. Are you caught up with me? Do you need more time?